What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the latest episode of Life After Strange right here on Player One versus the World. And my latest guest, she doesn't play Chloe in just one game, she plays Chloe in 2 games, and it is none other than Gabrielle Hersh. Gabriella, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. For some people who might not be aware, but I doubt it because my channel is very heavily Life is Strange based, Gabriella does the motion capture for Chloe, and I'm very grateful for her to come on the show. I imagine she's got so many great stories as well behind the motion capture. But before we dig into Life is Strange, I want to start with you. And in terms of, you were born in America, then you went and lived in France and in Paris, where you started acting. What inspired you to become an actor?
Well, I am an only child, and I was a painfully shy kid, very much in my shell. And when I was about 12 or 13, my mom actually signed me up with an agency to try to get me to open up a little bit more. And yeah, things started rolling. I started getting auditions here and there, messing up a bunch of them. It was kind of weird because I was an American girl in Paris and I always had a slight accent when I spoke French. So I started leaning more towards English-speaking roles, and then I kind of found my niche with that. So I, got friendly with a bunch of people at different production companies, and whenever there was an English role that was available, I would, try to audition for it. And yeah, that was it. So that's where it started.
Amazing. And we'll dig in through your your filmography, your games and everything else throughout this show. But obviously, as I said, Life is Strange is one of the big things that you were involved with. And how did you end up getting into Life is Strange? What was the audition process like?
The audition. It wasn't really an audition. It was kind of like a first take because I had done my first game in 2011, which was Beyond Two Souls. And I had been filming that, sporadically over the course of 2 years at that point. And then someone who was working at Quantic Dreams was also friendly with people at Dontnod. And so they recommended me. And then I just went in one day and we just started kind of doing the scene of Max and Chloe in Chloe's bedroom when they first meet up again after Max moves back from Seattle to Arcadia Bay. So it wasn't a formal audition. It was just kind of Serena and I, the other Mocap actress, just kind of playing along. And, it was pretty much in the bag already. And yeah, it feels so long ago.
Yeah, as I've said with some of the actors I brought on, I'm always like, I'm sorry to pick at your brain. It's been so long, but
yeah, no, it was nuts. It feels kind of like it was yesterday, but also not at all. It was very weird, but it was super fun. It was it's such a cool industry. It's such a cool thing to be a part of because there's really nothing else like it. Yeah.
Amazing. And when you were brought in as well, did they tell you that you were going to be playing Chloe straight away, or when did you find out about that?
They told me I was going to be playing Chloe straight away. And it was just such early stages of production where everyone was still trying to build the bones of the game and figure everything out. And so they just had that one scene that they gave me, and they gave me a little bit of background, but I didn't really know much else to the storyline or what else was going on, what would happen in the previous scene or what was going to happen in the next scene. It was just like, oh, you are this kind of angry rebellious teenager, and you're gonna talk with your friend about how you are disillusioned with life, and how the world has basically turned its back on you. It's like, oh, okay. All right, I'm diving right in. And I remember they made me dance to no music. So that was fun.
Made you dance?
Yeah, they made me dance. There's a scene where Chloe's dancing on her bed, and that was one of the first shots I ever did on Life is Strange.
And with that, that recommendation to come and work at Dontnod that you got from Quantic Dream, did they tell you that you wouldn't be doing the voiceover work for this straight off the bat, or when did you find out that you wouldn't be voicing Chloe?
So I wasn't really sure about what was going on with that because they were doing motion capture in Paris, and then, they did the voice recording in Los Angeles, I believe. So when I was doing my scenes and when the other mocap actors were doing their scenes, we'd have to learn the lines and we would recite them. So sometimes we would have microphones on us, so I thought that they would be incorporating my voice a little bit, but turns out they didn't. It was like there's definitely a divide between the mocap side of things and then voice recording. So yeah, it was a little bit vague at the time.
Okay. And still sticking on Chloe as well, do you remember when the first time you saw what she looked like, and what was your first impressions of when you saw this character that you've brought to life?
Yeah, she was like everything that I wanted to be as a teenager, just like looks-wise, the punky blue hair, the tattoos on her arms. Just, I loved that kind of grungy look, and I always wanted to pull that off when I was, in my younger days. So I thought that was super cool. I loved her look. I really loved that character. A very soft spot for that Chloe in particular. I thought it was the coolest thing because I was like 17 when we started, so that was right up my alley.
Mad. I'll hold you to how much you love Chloe later on because I got a very tough question for you. But with that as well, obviously so much time has passed with the game, and imagine you've heard what Ashly Burch's voice is like for the character. What did you make when you heard it? Was that the character that you thought and envisioned when you heard her voice?
It was, because I don't know, I thought there was a part of me that thought that I was going to be doing the voice as well. So when I heard Ashly speak as Chloe, I thought our voices were kind of similar, actually. So when I heard it, I thought it was really fitting. There was a little bit of me that was kind of bitter that I didn't get to do the voice acting because I felt like that I would have been able to tap into the character a lot more and have a deeper connection with Chloe rather than just being like the vessel. But yeah, no, Ashly Burch did a really good job, so I can't be too mad about that.
Okay.
It was very well cast.
And we're going to stick into this as well because we're going to go now into the motion capture side, which is what your bread and butter is for this. And I saw an Instagram post from you where it was you and your fellow actors, and you had Michel and Raoul there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the experience of working with them too. Like, were they there for the majority of the motion capture scenes? What was it like just working with two directors like them?
They were super, super awesome. So hands-on with everything. They were such a great team. And they did a lot of the physical work as well. They, really broke down everything that was going on in the scene, like before we'd start shooting. And then as we were shooting, they were like running around trying to get all the props together. Like, at the end of the day, they would be sweaty and exhausted. They were like super, super hard workers. And I really, really liked working with them. They were great.
I'm glad to hear that. And I imagine as well, with you being Chloe's motion capture actor, you worked heavily with Serena in most of the scenes with Max. What was it like to work with her again? Because I know that you worked together on Beyond Two Souls, is that right?
Yeah. No, it was super fun to work with her on that, because when we met on the set of Beyond Two Souls, we didn't shoot that much together. We had like half a day of shooting, or maybe one full day of shooting together. So I didn't really get to know her that well. But then throughout, filming Life is Strange, it was really cool. She really embodied Max very well. Like, even when we were not shooting, her personality was very demure and sweet and, kind of effortlessly cool, or like cool, and she just didn't know how awesome she was. And so I thought we made a really good team with that. She was really awesome too.
That's cool. Have you two kept in touch then since Life is Strange? Do you talk regularly?
No.
Or?
Well, when we were both living in Paris, we were still in touch. And then when I moved to New York, we lost touch. We haven't spoken in a bit, but I believe she still lives in Paris.
I believe so as well. I've been trying to get her on this show.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm chasing her down, so hopefully I can get her on at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But
She's a little shy, so we gotta keep knocking.
I will definitely try. I will not stop. I get requests all the time for this show as well with people coming on.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, I will get people on and we'll slowly get there and it'll definitely happen. And obviously, I really wanted to get you on and talk to you about the motion capture, and that was like one of my main things. And with that as well, you kind of mentioned some of how long your scenes were with Serena. Just like how long did all the motion capture segments take for you with Life is Strange? Do you remember how many sessions there were, and which was like particularly long from a day's shoot in there?
Oh, like how long one full day shoot would be?
In terms of like how many shoots that you did for the overall project, and then like. Was there one particular day where it was really longer compared to the others?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to answer because we filmed kind of like in a scattered way throughout the year. So there would be months of nothing going on. And then in a few weeks, it would be like one day after another, just try to like bang it all out. And we would have, sometimes we do half-day shoots, but that wasn't too often. Usually it would be a full day, and a full day would be like from 8 a.m. to 6, I want to say. But yeah, it was nothing that was too demanding or exhausting. But it was strange the way that there would be a lot of time of radio silence and not knowing what's going on. And then, then your agent calls you and you're like, okay, you're filming every day for the next 2 weeks. So be on set tomorrow at 8 a.m. Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask this later, but I'll kind of bring it in now. So in between that duration period, Life is Strange started to take off massively in 2015 when it was released. Like the fandom just shot up. And I imagine that more people started to know who you were in terms of that project specifically. What was your reaction like with fans? I imagine they must have interacted with you quite a lot when they found out that you were involved with this project.
Yeah, I think I didn't know when the games were really coming out because I had moved to New York by that time, and then it kind of all started happening on social media where people were just hitting me up out of the blue. Like one day I woke up and I just would have a bunch of messages and follow requests and DMs and stuff like that. I was being tagged in a bunch of pictures, and then it's like, oh, okay, so this is starting to become a thing. That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it was super sweet. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. And with the experiences of Life is Strange, like, you've worked with Quantic Dream and Dontnod, and both on like motion capture. What was it like, those experiences, like in terms of motion capture in the two different studios? How was it like having that experience in the gaming industry of working with those kind of two studios on these projects?
Yeah, no, it was really cool to have a taste of two different studios. Dontnod was really, I want to say Dontnod was really sweet because it felt like they were such a tight-knit family. Quantic Dream was just such a bigger studio. And I mean, it's really hard. They were both so great. But I would say that working with Quantic Dream was a lot more time-consuming and physically demanding, and a lot more technical.
Okay, and that kind of bleeds into my next question as well, because I was going to say, out of the two Quantic Dream games and the Life is Strange games, which was the most challenging role that you found?
Probably Chloe Price. She was,
really?
Yeah, she was more challenging because she was so nuanced, and I would get little sections of the script and I would try to get, I would try to form an idea of who she was and what her motivations were. And, there's just so much depth to her character that I still feel to this day that I wasn't able to fully grasp. But she was a very complicated one. And yeah, she was very near and dear to my heart.
That's cool.
And it was hard to be, the bitter, angry, kind of full of animosity girl, but also try to bring some warmth and to get players to sympathize with her and to and to kind of feel the pain that she was actually going through internally. So that was kind of an interesting balance to try to bring to the table.
And you've seen Chloe's, like, just the character as well, now brought to life. Was there anything that you wish that the developers had focused on more with Chloe, just off the top of your head? Like, you wish that they might have focused something specifically on her?
Yeah, I think they could have maybe focused a little bit more on her background and a little bit more on where she comes from, because at times she can come off as quite aggressive, and it can be a little bit off-putting. I think if they focused maybe a little bit more on her softer side, that would have been cool to see, just to tap into empathy with the players, and that she wasn't just this like crazy rebellious drinking, weed smoking, like anarchist.
Okay. And with the motion capture as well, I want to know, what was your favorite scene to record from Life is Strange, and why?
Okay. One really funny scene to shoot was when it was a scene where Max and Chloe are shooting cans, and Frank comes out and he gets all upset, and Chloe sees that Frank is wearing one of Rachel's bracelets, and she's like, where did that come from? And, there's an option that Chloe dies in that scene where Frank stabs her. And that was really fun to shoot, because the guy who was doing the mocap for Frank was really good. When he stabbed me, he had this really evil look in his eyes. It was just like, it's like he was just seeing red. And he lunges at me screaming, and I really think he was coming to attack me. So I run away, and I run to the other side of the studio, like screaming like a little girl, and everyone laughed. And that was very memorable. It was really fun.
That's incredible.
That was really, it's like, wow, it's some serious method acting here. Going in for the kill.
So whilst I was digging through research and stuff, I saw that you did a Reddit AMA in 2018. And in that, you said that you did Victoria's motion capture as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
So with all these characters that you did you just do Chloe and Victoria? And did they tell you were doing all these other characters as well, along with Chloe?
I did, yeah. So I did Chloe, I did Victoria, and I did Kate Marsh. And then I did other just random high schoolers, because they just needed to have different body languages and just, just different body languages for different characters. So yeah, that was fun. Playing Victoria was was a lot of fun.
What did you make of Victoria?
Oh, she was so snarky. She had such an attitude. It was like, I just pretended that I was in Mean Girls or something, and I just went with that. It's like Regina George, just try to be as mean as possible, like absurdly mean.
I won't lie, it's a very good source of inspiration to take for Victoria.
I know. Yeah, it sucked. I hated being mean to Serena. She has like the sweetest face, and I would just sit there like, oh, you want to get through?
Amazing. And, the game's finished. What were your overall thoughts on just the story when you learned more about it? And then also specifically the Max-Chloe relationship, the dynamic that's at the heart of the story?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Max and Chloe relationship. I loved how the story progressed, that their relationship got so much more. They just delved back into each other after being separated for so long. And, I love to see Chloe kind of slowly open up to Max again, and the way, and, lean on her in the way that she needed her when she had been gone. It was really cool to flourish with that, and to be a part of that developing relationship. I really liked it. I remember our kiss scene was very interesting to do. Because at the very end, there's two. Yeah, I think there's two scenes where they kiss. And we didn't know that was happening until we were there and we were 5 minutes away from it. And it's really hard to get close to anyone when you're doing mocap because you have all these sensors on you, and moving your body in a certain way can kind of mess up the sensors, and they won't be able to capture your body movements perfectly. So we had to like be very intimate, but also have our bodies be far apart at the same time. So that was an interesting one to do. But I really do love their relationship. I love that. I love that Chloe was able to find trust in someone again because she had been isolated for so long. And I love that Max kind of came out of her shell as well, and they kind of leaned on each other that way. It was very cute.
Nice. And you just said there as well, the kiss scene. I know a lot of people spoke about that, especially in terms of the motion captures. And you said that you didn't realize it was happening. Did you and Serena talk about it before you actually shot the scene, or was it just like you both went in and just...
No, we kind of just both went for it. Yeah, that kind of just was sprung on us that morning. And so we just waited for it. But we didn't actually like touch lips. We just, again, we had to pretend to be very loving and caring, and but also physically we were like removed, and we would just tilt our heads to different ways. And then they were like, oh, okay, it's cool. We can like make you guys get closer when we
Right. And we'll move away from Max and Chloe for the moment. Were there any other characters that you liked from Life is Strange, particularly? Any reasons why?
I liked Chloe's stepfather, actually. Well, actually liked is a strong word, but I definitely was intrigued by his character because I thought he, similar to Chloe, was also very misunderstood, and he came across a certain way. And there was definitely a softer, sweeter side to him, and he actually did care a lot about Chloe, and she didn't realize it, just how Chloe is very, very caring herself, and it doesn't come across that way. So I thought David was pretty interesting. Also Victoria, just the mean girl. You're always kind of like, what's your deal?
Okay. Would Gabriella be part of the Vortex Club with Victoria?
Maybe. I would be sitting behind Victoria, probably observing her. But the Vortex Club would be cool. But I would keep a safe distance from Victoria.
So obviously I've asked you what your favorite scene to record was. I imagine that you've seen the game now in its entirety, or played through it, or watched it. Mm-hmm. What was your favorite scene from the game, and why?
I love it when they're walking on the tracks together. I just thought that was a very wholesome moment. And then there's so many. I love the diner scenes because I loved pretending to be in a diner while doing mocap. That was such a funny, that was such a weird thing to do. And I also was Jody when we were doing diner scenes too. It was Chloe's mom. Joyce, sorry. Figuring out how to walk like a mom and then also be Chloe in the next scene was fun. So the diner stuff was cool. And then the very end when Max chooses to sacrifice Chloe, I thought that was a really, really, really cool ending.
Well, I'm very happy that you said those as well, because my next two questions are surrounding what you just said. So where does Gabriella stand on the ending of Life is Strange? Would she sacrifice the town or save Chloe?
Yeah, I think you gotta sacrifice Chloe. I think you gotta do it. I mean, I probably shouldn't be saying that, but Chloe did. There were so many instances where Chloe died or almost died, and Max would rewind time to save her. And after a while, it kind of feels like almost like a final destination sort of thing, where this is just your fate and you need to kind of accept it. And I like that. And the option where Chloe does get sacrificed, she is at total peace with it. Mm-hmm. So I like that ending more. But yeah, it is tough. It is tough. But I think Chloe being sacrificed turns her into a more sympathetic character.
I was like asking that question because I was literally clicked save Chloe straight away with no regrets, and I was like, see you later.
Oh my god! Yeah, all my friends who play the game or play any game where there's an option to kill me, they don't think twice. They kill me. Kill Chloe. But it's nice that you'd saved me. Thank you.
Oh, no worries at all. I was like, Chloe has to live right now. I was like, I can't go through 5 episodes and then kill her off.
That's so funny.
As I said,
they're like, you're gone.
And as I said as well, I like that you mentioned the diner scene because the most tricky question on this interview is, would Gabriella choose a bacon omelette or a Belgian waffles?
Oh, Belgian waffles, for sure. Sure. That was the toughest question. I love it.
Oh, well, it's tricky. There is a tough one. So, of course, Dontnod didn't make the prequel for Life is Strange. I mean, you had Life is Strange before Storm come out. I imagine that must have been a massive disappointment that you didn't get the chance to come back and play Chloe in the motion capture again.
Yeah, totally. It's definitely a bummer because I feel like I have reached such a peak with those games, and I would love to go back to them. And it was kind of a bummer to not be asked to come back because I really would have loved to delve back into that character again. And just to be part of that world, it's the coolest job I've ever had. So yeah, definitely disappointing, but no super hard feelings.
And did you watch any of Before Storm or play for it when it came out?
No, I actually haven't. I haven't played it. I was going to, and then I remember just being in New York City and taking classes and going to college and then trying to find a part-time job, and it felt like that life was like so far behind me. And then I felt like if I would go back into it, I would get kind of bummed because I would miss it so much. But yeah, I like watching other people play. When PewDiePie played Life is Strange, I watched that whole game, and that was really cool.
Nice. And by the way, when you said that you like Dontnod's focus on something, it's about Chloe's more emotional side. You do see a lot more of it in this game, which is quite nice as well.
Oh, great, yeah. Because you dive into Rachel Amber and her.
Yeah, of course.
Everything.
So we'll move away from Life is Strange for the moment. So because I want to go back to the fact that you were so young when you broke into the industry in terms of that you were in Beyond Two Souls, and now fast forward to 2020. What's it like just seeing that kind of like the progress you made in your career, going from Beyond Two Souls to Life is Strange to Detroit Become Human? What's it like just reflecting on that experience?
It's so crazy. It feels like a whirlwind. When Detroit Become Human came out, that was like this just crazy explosion. And to look back to see how that game touched so many people was really cool. And I didn't know, I thought I was actually going to have a very small role in Detroit Become Human. And that was actually the thing that brought me the most success. So that was pretty shocking to hear, because when I started doing Detroit Become Human, that was in 2014. Yeah, 2014. And that was when they were kind of building the skeleton of the game, and I knew virtually nothing about that. I just knew that I was the first android. That's pretty much all they told me. And then it came out, and I was the menu girl, and I had no idea. So that was very shocking. So the response to that was crazy. And it's crazy to think about. It's crazy to see how much fan art there is out there and how many people love the character. And when I reflect back on the scenes, I had no idea it was going to be something this monumental.
Okay.
I thought it was a little shoot.
I'm glad to hear that, because we will move into Detroit. But I just kind of want to talk first about, you've worked with David Cage on 2 games now. David Cage is a very Marmite figure in terms of, I know people love him or hate him. I think he's great. I think, I really enjoyed his games. What was your experience like working with him personally on the games?
Super, super positive. He was not there all the time, but when he was there, he was so sweet, very receptive. He like clearly put a lot of time, effort, his blood, sweat, and tears into the game. He was very, very devoted to what he was doing. So I only had very positive experiences with him. He was nothing but nice to me. So I like him.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. And with Beyond Two Souls, did you sit down and play through the game or watch it?
Beyond Two Souls, yeah. So I watched the whole thing. That was a couple years ago. Yeah, when did that come out?
2013, I believe.
2013, yeah. Yeah, so I watched the whole thing. That was so long ago. Oh my God.
What did you make of the game? Just personal thoughts of it? How the story was told?
I really enjoyed it. I liked the beginning of it a lot more. And then, I don't know, I kind of got lost when, Jodie escaped. Right. But I loved Ellen Page. I thought she did a terrific job, and I just love that Willem Dafoe was in it too. So
it was, yeah. I had a lot of joy with seeing Willem Dafoe and Ellen Page in the game. It was fantastic.
Super cool duo.
Amazing. So we'll fast forward to Detroit now and make it a bit more relevant, so I don't scratch your brain too much without going too far back in it, into your history. But with Detroit, did you re-audition for the role, or did Quantic Dream specifically want you back for it?
They specifically wanted me back for it. I think the only audition I did was for Beyond Two Souls in like 2011. And yeah, for Detroit Become Human, I was pretty friendly with, people on the production team. And so they called me up and I just went in and, David sat me down, and the first scene I did was like the first take. It wasn't really the audition. We were just rolling basically. And it was the interview that's on YouTube, the little snippet of Chloe being interviewed and saying that she doesn't have a soul, and she is the first android, and so yeah, that was my first audition for that.
That must have been really gratifying as an actor, that you worked at the studio once and they were like, we want you to come back and work on this game, and with a bigger role as well in Detroit. Yeah,
well I thought the role was very small. David painted such a big picture about the story of Detroit. It was like this huge like movie, like he was doing something like Lord of the Rings, and I thought that I had a very small, like tiny, like niche role in that wouldn't be on the forefront at all. So yeah, that was quite crazy to see how things turned out.
And obviously, we play another Chloe in this game.
Yes,
what were your first impressions of Chloe when you saw her?
I was blown away. I didn't know they were going to completely model her after me. I thought they just needed a body to be, an android, and not a super important android. And then once I started filming more, and it was a more intense process because they would put the sensors on your face, and that added a whole other layer to motion capture acting. And then when I finally saw the character, it was super cool. It was kind of freaky, but definitely cool.
I imagine so, because this role you actually did voice acting, your likeness was in it, you did the motion capture, so that must have been like for you, like an eye-opening experience.
Yeah, it definitely was. They had my voice for bits of it, and then other bits they had another voice actress to do like the main menu scenes. So yeah, that was super cool. That was a much more intense process that I definitely miss a lot.
And you just touched on it as well. The hostess Chloe, the menu girl, is voiced by someone else. Were you surprised that they changed your voice for that, or did they tell you that you wouldn't be having your voice for the main menu?
No, I didn't know what was happening. I thought it was a similar thing to Life is Strange, where I thought maybe I was going to be doing the voice because I was still, reciting all the lines and everything. and we were doing a bunch of takes, but then I guess they got a bunch of different voice actors to do that over. So I wasn't super hurt about it, because the voice of Chloe in Detroit Become Human is actually really good. It's very fitting for a main menu, very soothing, kind of like that, a sweet Siri voice almost.
and with Chloe as well in the I'm scratching my brain a little bit with Detroit. When we meet her, there's 3 Chloes as well in the actual game. And how did you shoot that? Because there's 3 of you at the same time.
I would just do one Chloe at a time. So there were two of me in the pool. So the first take, I would just be kind of leaning on the pool like this and just turning and pretending to be talking, and I wasn't talking to anyone. And then the next scene, I would be on this side, we're doing this. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's how it went down.
I hope your friends didn't kill you as well in that choice as well.
They absolutely did. No questions. No questions asked.
One of my difficult questions coming up for you now is, where does Gabriella stand on the menu girl, Chloe? Does she free her or keep her?
Oh, you gotta free her, yeah. Gotta free Chloe. She, there is a way to get her back. There's a little hack you can do. The majority of the messages I get on Instagram are, oh, like, I had to free you. Like, it was like, I felt so bad I had to do it. I'm so happy I let you go. And then it's like, but now I miss you. How do I get you back? Because if you don't free her, maybe she'll go deviant and start causing some trouble.
Okay. You'll be happy to hear that I freed her on that choice compared to the other choice of the other Chloe. So with Detroit as well, we have the 3 characters, Connor, Markus, and Cara. Which is your favorite out of those 3?
I really like Connor. It's
Connor.
The close pick between Connor and Cara, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Connor.
Okay. Any reason why?
That. I like his storyline a lot. I love his character development. I love that kind of rigid, cliche android that he plays, and to watch him kind of like discover himself a little bit. And I love his relationship with Hank. I think there's a lot of, I think a lot of his scenes are actually really funny and very interesting to watch. Cara is really cool because I love her. I love her motherly instinct. I love to see that that was a thing that made her go deviant, and how she really is this, like, she just turns into a full-blown mother to Alice. So I like that. But yeah, Connor's him.
Right, okay. And as I've teased you throughout this entire interview, we're coming to the most difficult question. So let's settle this now, Gabriella. Which is your favorite Chloe out of Life is Strange Chloe and Detroit Chloe, and why?
It's, yeah. It's Chloe Price, I gotta say. Chloe Price.
What puts Chloe ahead of Detroit's Chloe?
It's just by a hair, like just ever so slightly. I just think there is a lot more nuance to Chloe Price. And I think there is a lot of different sides to Detroit Become Human Chloe, but Chloe Price has a lot more personality. Say, I like her sass. I like her attitude.
Okay, I fully agree that you say Chloe Price as well.
Yeah.
even though I do like Detroit's Chloe as well, I do like, obviously, Chloe Price is higher in my books. And so we're going to go back to 2018 for a moment. So in the Reddit AMA, you said that you were based in New York City and you graduated at the time. Congratulations, by the way. And so I just wanted to know where the career path's going from there now. Have you started to pursue more work in gaming? Have you been applying? Have you been with an agency? Just to kind of like
Yeah, I am with an agency here in New York, but I was focusing a lot on school and then work. So I definitely put acting to the side, regretfully, but I'm at a stage in my life where I'm realizing that this is the industry that I absolutely want to be in. So I'm going to try to do a lot more auditions and make a lot more time for that. Ideally, I want to get back into motion capture specifically, but I don't know too many video game studios that are filming anything right now. I know Rockstar Games is based in New York, but I think a lot of the big mocap studios are either in Los Angeles or Paris or, in Asia. So yeah, that's going to be something I'm going to be focusing on.
Well, I hope you get something as well, because you did fantastic jobs with the other games you worked in. And we're going to end on a Life is Strange question, which I have to ask as well. I ask every person. So there are plans for a Life is Strange TV show. And while I would like you to play Chloe Price because of how much you love the character, you're not allowed to in my question. So Gabrielle is the casting director. Who would she cast as Chloe Price and why?
Oh, that's tough. Oh man, what is her name? Oh, Chloe Grace Moretz.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How come her out of anyone else?
I think I like the way she carries herself. I think she could do a really good job doing Chloe. Her name is Chloe, so she's halfway there. Yeah, she's kind of been someone I look up to a lot in Hollywood. I think she's a really, really good actress, and I think she would do a really good job. And I think she has the right amount of sass to bring to the table.
Nice. And actually, before we end the show as well, I want to ask you one more question. You played one Chloe. You played two Chloes. I assume the next role is going to be a Chloe, isn't it? Just a complete...
Crossed. I feel like I can't not do a Chloe now. Gotta keep it going.
I'm glad to hear that. So, as with custom with my show as well, I let the actors have the final say to send a message to Life is Strange fans. So I'll let you take it from here.
Well, I just want to say this has been a super humbling experience. I'm so grateful for being able to be a part of these games that have impacted so many people. I'm so grateful. I never want to get to the place where I don't take this without gratitude. And you're all so awesome, and I love you all very, very much. Thank you so much for the support. It really means a lot.
Thank you for the wonderful message. Perfect way to end the show. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching. I had a wonderful guest on with Gabriella. Thank you for coming on my show.
You're welcome.
Brilliant. And please rate, subscribe, comment. My channel's growing and it's been really helpful to see people supporting it. I had a wonderful guest on today. Hopefully I have more as well to come. Serena, if you're watching this, please respond to my email. I feel like I just need to put that desperate plea out there. But either way, guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you, Gabriella. And we'll see you next time, guys. See you later.
Bye.